All right, so let's talk about bass chords. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to explain the science behind why we play the bass chords the way we play them, and then I'll get into how to begin learning bass chords. And the example I'll do it over is "Trading My Sorrows," the song "Trading My Sorrows." So to talk about the science of why we play bass chords the way we do. Um, the first thing we have to recognize is how guitar players play their chords. So a typical C chord on the guitar will look a little bit like this, kind of, sort of. I mean, obviously they have 6 strings, but so the reason we don't do that is because let's talk about frequencies. All right, the bass instrument is an overall lower frequency than any other instrument out there, other than the low end of the piano, obviously. So when we play chords in that lower end, it sounds real muddy. That's why you don't really hear piano players playing chords down there. Rather, if I play it up here, same chord, same fingerings, it's just up an octave. Same C major chord. It's way less muddy. It's a lot more clear than. There's no definition, there's no clarity because of the notes that are so low. However, we're a bass instrument, so how do we get around this? Well, the way we get around it is we spread the notes out a little bit further. All right, when you're in those lower frequencies, spreading the notes out helps bring that definition. So what I mean by that is basically we can take C. So instead of playing C down here, I'm going to play C on the lowest string. So right here on the E string. All right, and the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to play as minimal as possible. So a normal chord is comprised of at least 3 notes: the first, the third, and the fifth. All right, so for C, for the key of C, that would be C, E, and G. All right, so we have C, E, G normally. However, the fifth is a note that we can remove because it's an interchangeable note no matter what chord we play. All right, as long as we have the root note, which is C, and the third, which is E. All right, the third defines what the chord is. So if we want to have a major chord, we have to have a major 3. If we want to have a minor chord, we have a minor 3. But the fifth stays the same and the root stays the same. So the root is more important. So I'll take C, and instead of playing E, which E is right here, I'm going to take E up the octave. And that right there is a bass chord. And we use the first and fourth strings. All right, it's called, there's a term for it, it's called double stops. All right, we use double stops to define a bass chord, double 2. All right, so to play a major chord, we take E up the octave. So if you find E right here, take it out, R5-0 up the octave, 2 frets over, 2 frets down, and then you find your original C, which is down here. You have your major chord. So what I'm doing is I'm playing C right here. I'm basically going all the way down to the 4th string and over 1 fret, like that. All right. And I use my thumb to get the low string and my finger to get the high string, like that. Now, for a minor chord, we play E flat. All you have to do is take this upper finger here and lower it by a fret. So now you're on the same fret with your first and third finger, which is what I typically use, but you can use like first and fourth, whatever you want to do. And now you have C minor. So, you know your C major, you now know your C minor. All right? So what we do here is now we can practice this over a major scale. All right? We'll practice it over the G major scale. So the first thing you need to do is you need to play G only on the E string all the way up. So what's going to help you here is remembering the layout of a major scale: whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. All right, 2 whole steps, then a half step, 3 whole steps, then a half step. That's how you make your major scale. So whole step, whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. I only played one note there because I'm just practicing the G major scale. All right, now to play chords, all right, what helps is knowing what's major and what's minor as far as the individual notes. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. All right, they all have qualities about them. So 1 is major. Obviously, we're in the G major scale. 2 is minor. 3 is minor. 4 is major. 5 is major. 6 is minor. 7 is diminished, but we'll say minor. And then 1 is major. All right, so I would say write that down if you can. Write it out. You can pause and rewind this video and listen to that again. But so we practiced G major going up the scale. So G major to 2 minor. So 2, I move my finger up here and I remember it's minor, so same fret. 3 minor again, so same fret. 4 is major, so different fret. 5 is major, different fret. 6 minor. 7 minor. And 1 back to major. Okay. Now, how do we apply this practically? The song Trading My Sorrows, depending on which version you listen to, actually uses bass chords. So you can do, you can implement this over Trading My Sorrows by first practicing the bass line only on the E string. So 1, 3, 4, 6, 6, 5. Just over the E string, try and master that. 1, 3, 4, 6, 6, 5. All right, good stuff. All right, but then from there, you can start to implement the chords. All right, so I'm going 1, 3, 4. 6, 6, 5. All right, so I focus on moving my pointer finger first and then building the chord. So minor, major. So that's going to be the tricky part, is moving from minor to major. So that's my introduction to double stops. Now there are other types of bass chords, which I can talk about at a later time, maybe record a different video, but for now, that's a basic introduction to what bassists primarily use. All right, so remember that, practice that, work on it, and let me know if you have any questions.